Okay, I've tried making this video so many damn times. Let me sit back and relax so I can get this video out. So, this is the problem. I really think in my generation, which I'm Gen Z, I'm an older Gen Z, because most of us were around when social media came out, or like teenagers around that time. And I really think, especially because I don't know when it started happening, but people started exposing everybody in Hollywood and stuff like that. And I really think it made people A wanna I'm not saying how can I put this? Even if somebody is doing something innocent, I feel like they try to hide it because they don't know if somehow it's gonna come back to bite them in the ass. So like, okay, good example. Say it's a woman, right? And this is like I know that both women or men are gaslight in society, but we gonna focus on the women first one. So say a woman in the club and she dancing, right? The way she dancing may be sexual. Maybe she twerking, maybe she doing all type of shit, right? That's how she was taught to dance. That's how she was raised up to think that women dance. So she ain't doing nothing wrong. Now, somebody who wasn't raised up that way may be like, why she doing all of that? Well, you got that right to think that. But she's in the club. You're in an environment where people come in their most egotistical form. They come dressed up, to impress. They get drunk and they be free. This is where you are, so this is the type of stuff you're gonna see, you know? So say the person who don't like it records it, they post it and be like, y'all shouldn't be in the club embarrassing yourself like this, right? All that girl was doing, or that woman, excuse me, was dancing. If you didn't like it, just don't look at it. Turn around and look at something else. But to record it, then post it and try to make an example out of her seems a bit too much. Like, it, it just, I feel like you can explain how you feel. You can talk about stuff without having to use the specifics. Like you can talk about a situation in your life without having to give the names of the people so that everybody can still have their privacy. Because A, everybody messes up. B, everything is perception. So what you think is wrong, somebody else may not think is wrong. And C, you're putting negative energy towards somebody because posting that video being like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, blah, blah, blah. Now you're gonna have so many people looking at it. And if they agree with you, I'm not saying that that's a negative if they agree with you, but now they judging this woman, calling her all type of bitches and hoes and stuff like that, when they don't even, that's not true. She was just enjoying herself in the club. This woman may be a doctor or some shit and be a great mama and all of that. And she could have been in the club with her husband. You just didn't see the husband because of where you were standing or something. Like, and what does that even matter? She a grown person in the club dancing. You see what I mean? Like, but I really feel like because social media and just the whole thing with people being exposed, my generation is very uptight. We don't want to say nothing. We don't want to do nothing. They got this whole movement called "We Hear" or "We Listen and We Don't Judge." Yeah, what the fuck? That's dangerous. That's very dangerous because that sounds like the perfect excuse for somebody who is pure evil to talk to somebody and be forgiven for everything when they need their ass whooped. Like those type of no, we listen, but we judge. Okay, you got to make a judgment call on if this person should be around you or not, if they should be around your family, your children or not. Like we make judgment calls. We don't just nah. We can forgive, but we don't forget. So, but I really think that's why I'm having a hard time posting my videos is because every time I talk about something that's a little bit too real, I'd be like, nah, I can't post that because then this person gonna feel like this and that person gonna feel like that, and and also too, damn, I just drank some coffee and ate a cookie and now I feel like I got a shit. Oh boy, 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 boy. Coffee pushes shit out. I don't understand how some people they be constipated and stuff. I don't know. I've never been one of those people that couldn't have a bowel movement. But drink coffee. If y'all not coffee drinkers, I swear, and you have constipation, drink coffee. It will make you shit. And I advise you, especially if it's your first time and you don't know how effective coffee can be, I would say stay at home. Stay at home when you eat and drink coffee because give it 10 minutes. That's all it takes. And trust me, you'll be ready. But anyway, um, what else? Besides social media and then Hollywood being exposed and all that, it was some other reason. Oh, yeah, yeah. So I think it's good if you care about people and their feelings. I don't think you should just say whatever and not care how it's going to affect somebody. And I think, yeah, the example I gave was if you see a gay man, you don't like calling him, oh, there go that faggot. That's disrespectful because that word is meant to belittle a person. Or if you see a lesbian woman and being like, there go that lesbian, that's disrespectful because the way you're saying it is trying to belittle the woman. If you know her name, just say her name. Why are you calling her by her sexual preference? And why are you calling him by his sexual preference if you know his name? Just like people like to play games, but they stepping over that line, you know? So I think it's a beautiful thing if you care. I feel like we all should care about how we say it and all that stuff like that. But at a certain point, you gotta just say whatever you think needs to be said, and that's it. And it's also dangerous with social media. That's why I really think I'm gonna just record videos and never show my face. Because honestly, I think, you know how when something is only known by a couple of people, it's pure, and the bigger it gets, the less pure it gets. Kind of like, mm, maybe like MMA or certain musicians. Like when it's not a lot of fans, you know, maybe it sucks for the people that's the entertainers because they're not making as much money because it's not as many people invested. But the product be so pure and so good, and it's like a win-win. Like yeah, the entertainers are getting the shittier end of the stick because they could make it bigger, but the customers are loyal customers, true customers, and it's cheap for them to get tickets or whatever. And the person, maybe they're not making buku money, but they can live a little decent life. So everything works out. But as soon as you go mainstream and start getting deals from TV networks and or like a musician getting a record deal and now the whole music, the whole vibe changes. The people that, your core group of fans who really loved you that pushed you to that hiatus, those people they can't even afford to come see you or they stop liking your music because you didn't change so much. So sometimes with things, and I'm saying all this to explain how social media is. I feel like when it started, maybe it did have benefits to it, but now that it's been around for so long, because I think, let's see, Facebook has been around for some time, and people would post pictures and all that on Facebook. So let's see, I know it's at least 10 years old, but it should be more than that. We're like 15, almost 20 years old. Hold on, I'm gonna Google it. It's Googleable. Let's see. hmm How long has Facebook been around? 21 years. Yep. 21 years. That's crazy. Wow. A whole generation of people grew up with Facebook. Damn, that is crazy. Okay, anyway, I got sidetracked. But what I'm saying is that social media has been around so long that I think it's been diluted now because it's so mainstream, you know? So the people who started on there, who were maybe into positive things or connecting with like-minded people, I think those people are gone. They're off. Or maybe they're on a different platform. But the ones that are common, like Facebook, Instagram, I don't know if Snapchat is still a thing or not, but places like that, I feel all the people with sense is gone. Honestly, all the people with sense is gone. Now it's mainstream. So I seen something that this one person said. I don't want to like to use names because I don't want to. I don't know how shit go. You say somebody's name and then you'll get shot. So it was this lady. She's an artist, and she was saying, I believe that 70% are followers. I think she said 20% are leaders, and then 10% are observers. So once something get mainstream, the 70% rushes it. When it's small, it may be a few members out the 70%, but I think it's mainly the observers and the leaders who are seeing it when it's small. When it hits big, that's when everybody flocks to it because when you go to the party and people like, do you know what this is? And you like, no. And you just do it just because everybody else is doing it. So then it becomes this, it gets diluted. So with social media, now that it's been around so long, it's just hella diluted. You got people on there that eh, you shouldn't be following. You clicking following them, thinking it's just a click, but you shouldn't be following them. Because certain things they into and they believe, it may not be the same thing you are into and believe. And it can be so polar opposite that, and people don't put enough importance on that. If you going to work or something and you bored, so you're like, oh, I'm gonna just go scroll, see what I see. And you see three things back to back. Somebody get shot in the head, a rape victim crying and trying to tell her truth or his truth. And then you see a baby being born. Like you just went up and down completely. And now you gotta focus on what you're doing. That may still fuck with you in the head, you know? Especially if something like that, maybe you've been around gun violence, maybe you've been abused, maybe you didn't had a child or something before. Those things you don't realize what you see can trigger you so much, what you hear can trigger you, and then you still got to focus on what you're doing. So it also yo-yos people a lot too, I've noticed. At least with myself it does. But yeah, all that contributes to I think why the perfectionism in me, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, or and then too the legal aspect. Like I know I've heard of copyright. When you play a song, it's copyright, but I don't even know how long if you play a song it's copyright. I don't know if you mention somebody's name, that's a lawsuit. Like it's so they make it not even fun. It's not even fun to try to just like you gotta crawl before you walk. Sometimes you're gonna make mistakes, but they gonna beat your ass for every little mistake. It takes the fun out of trying to get better at something. If every little thing you do, you got somebody trying to take the money you don't got or riding around looking for you. Like, damn. But no, and what I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but sometimes what I think is gonna happen is the same way with school. If y'all ever went to college, it's sometimes like this in high school, but my high school didn't do this. I didn't experience this till I got to college. So when you try to write a paper, you have to give the source, right? I got away with it in high school. We never had to do it. You can't get away with it in college. You have to do it. So when they told me, both of my Comp 1, Comp 2 teachers told me you gotta source it, I'm like, okay. So I go to the reading center, I mean the writing center, they help me, they tell me basically how it works. First of all, when you pick something that you're gonna pull information from, it has to be um kind of like accredited. So it has to have gone through peer review and sometimes other things depending on what your professor tells you. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Whew. If anyone sees this and says bless you, Thank you. Okay, or here's it. Anyway, it has to be an accredited source, right? And that means that it has to get peer reviewed and a bunch of other shit. But this is the thing. If I'm writing about something that's metaphysical, that doesn't mean it's not true. But how can somebody peer review it if they don't acknowledge quantum physics? Now they acknowledge it, but before, if you don't acknowledge quantum physics or metaphysics as real, or you can do the same things I can do to peer review, it means that my information is invalid. So to me, I was like, wait, so I can only pull from certain information to prove a point on papers or, just to back up what I'm saying. And they're like, yeah, you can't just go on YouTube and pull a video. You can't go to just any old body. It has to be from certain websites. So I'm like, that's kind of, I don't know the right word for it, but it's very sneaky, very smart, but it's very fucked up because you can make, how do you say, like a boys club? You can basically get a bunch of people and say, look, if you write this paper, we'll peer review it and we'll say that you're good to go. This person over here who's right, but we don't want him or her to be right. We're not going to peer review them. We're going to gaslight them, and their information can never be used, at least in academia. That's what can happen. That's what can happen. So it's the same people putting information out, or older people who put their information out, and now the new students coming up got to pull from that, and they think that that's as high as the information can go, you know. But it's a whole nother level. It's kind of like, imagine going into a 10-story building and thinking that you can only go up to the third floor, but it's actually 10. That's what it's like in college because you can only pull from certain sources, and those sources, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm sure it has truth to it, but once something is outdated, it becomes essentially a lie because it's not valid anymore. So you have to go to what's valid. But because you won't credit the person that is valid for whatever reason, you got all these people pulling this information and only staying inside of a thinking box that's only the third floor. So what I think is going to happen with social media is eventually they're going to kick everybody out who got sense because it's going to be the 70% on there. And it's going to be a very, very, and I mean this with all due respect, but it's going to be a very, very, very dumbed down version of society, of societal norms, of how you should, think, conduct yourself, feel, all that stuff is going to be very shallow. And all the people who have depth aren't going to be allowed on there because as soon as you go on there, the little robots and computers that's probably in a room, kind of like, you know how they have those, I don't know what they're called. It's sort of like when you do cryptocurrency, you have to have those rooms, those buildings, and it has all the damn technology in it. I don't know what it's not a data form, data. It's something else. I can't think of it, but it's something with cryptocurrency and all that stuff. The servers maybe, where it's those big old buildings, big old rooms, and it's all these technologies in it. So I'm pretty sure they got something like that too. And it's programmed if you see any of these words attack. So if somebody say, make love, not war, somebody gonna be like, shut up, bitch, stupid hoe. Like, one of the bots gonna jump on them. If it's not a person, it's gonna be a bot. It's gonna be a fleshly bot or it's gonna be an artificial bot. But all the people with sense are gonna get booted out. They're gonna be bullied off the island. And it's only gonna be the shallow 3D way of thinking, the outdated way of thinking. So that's why I think too it's best to not even show your face no more. Just talk. That's it. Because people can still talk shit and you can, I'm pretty sure, feel the negative energy from somebody hearing your voice and saying something. But I think it's way different if they can see your face because they can really send it to you. And when you get so much negativity, especially if you don't have a lot of support or know how to deal with it, that's how motherfuckers end up going crazy. So yeah, I think that's the future though. I think that's the future. Either it'll die out or it's only going to be subpar intelligence on social media. So We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I put it on here because maybe, like, there's always a diamond in the rough. You're gonna have the next five, six generations. It's always gonna be those kids that are like the misfits, or those children rather that are the misfits, and they need something to connect with so they don't feel crazy. So I'm hoping that just like the people like Dr. Litchfield, I can't say this lady first name, Dr. Tashabalala Litchfield out of South Africa. Um, I think Credo is from South Africa too. Credo Mutwa. I hope I said that right too. People like, I don't know, Bobby Hemming kind of crazy, but you gotta give credit where it's due. This motherfucker is wild. But I learned stuff from him too. Um, I was listening to a guy, he had a YouTube channel, I believe it's called New Life Tools, but his name is Brother Yosef. I listened to him too. Who else? Who else? Who else? It was a couple more women in there. Dr. Mumbi. Um, there's a lot of people. Oh, let me shout out my astrologer, Jupiter James. I look at his videos. Oh, and Astro Finesse. He really helped me out with astrology too, like giving me an understanding, and then it made sense when I tried to read about it. But yeah, all those people gave me hope that I wasn't crazy because in my immediate reality, nobody was like me. And then once I went to YouTube and looked stuff up, and I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. I ain't retarded. Like, it's other people out here that's feeling what I'm feeling, that's thinking what I'm thinking. Okay. So hopefully, I think I'm gonna post this one. This one feels like I should post it. I can feel it in my spirit. The other ones I deleted, but I think this is a good one. But hopefully, when I put all this stuff out there, you know, it'll be kind of like that light at the end of the tunnel for the future generations and stuff like that. So they don't feel crazy. Oh, and Dr. Della Blair. Let me say that slow so people can Google it if they need to. Dr. Delbert Blair. I'm from the South, guys. So sometimes I just be talking lazy and I don't pronounce all the letters in the word. I just be, you know, lazy talking. But yeah, hopefully he's actually from out of Chicago. I think he had a company called the Meta Center. I think so. But yeah, go look it up if you want to and stuff like that. But hopefully, whenever I get done, I can kind of be that light for the future generations, so they can pull on me, pull on the information, and not feel so alone and crazy. Especially the women. I really, 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 really like. Y'all understand? Hold on, let me sit down. It's because I got a shit, but I really feel like this video is so good. I don't want to stop to go shit. That's why I'm out of breath. But it's ooh, that coffee, I'm telling you, the coffee is the key. But listen, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna end the video because I'm about to I'm about to die. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh, but I really, really want to be a good example to Black women. I really do. That means so much to me. And I'm light skinned, guys. So I know I may not be the leader that y'all want, but I'm the one that y'all got. I knew how much I loved women since I was a little girl. And I'm not even talking about sexually. I mean, I really have always loved women and I feel very protective over them. So much so that I made fun of because a man is supposed to protect women, not another woman. But I feel like that's bullshit. Because in my opinion, it was a situation. My dad used to pick me up by my head. I don't know. I guess he thought it was cool or whatever. So he would pick me up by my head when I was maybe 5 or 6. But eventually it started to hurt. But for some reason, I didn't want to say that it hurt, but I would be scared. I guess he didn't see that or he didn't feel it. And I seen my mama look at me and me look at her, and she was like, put that girl down. So what I'm saying is like, I think mamas are very protective. And if, I would assume we all came from a woman, I think that women are supposed to protect not only women, but men too. You protect who you feel deserves it. It's not about the gender or the sex, it's about who deserves it. And I really feel like Black women deserve so much love and protection. I hate how Black women are treated. I do. And I don't say we because even though, like, trust me, I've been fucked up many of times. We'll get to those stories. But I understand that the darker you are, or the more African-like features you have, the more fucked up of a time you gonna have. I do. And I've tried to speak up. I've gotten into fights because of that too. We'll get into that. But I just, I want to get to the point where, you know how some women call each other bitches, like bad bitches and stuff? I don't like it, but I can understand it. But I still, I don't like it. I never have. I want to get to the point where women see themselves so much as a god, as something so perfect and beautiful and amazing. They don't even want to call themselves a bitch or their friend a bitch. To the point where if somebody say that, they look at them like, what? Like they speaking in an ancient language or some shit. You know? That's what I want. I want women to get to the point where they don't have the fear of standing up to a man if need be to protect themselves, another woman, woman, girl, don't matter the age, or even a man if need be. I want to get to the point where women just they have their umph back. Because I do believe we're all slaves. Like even white people, Hispanic people, I get we're all slaves because we all gotta pay bills. And we have a lot of fights to fight before we could even get to that point. But I just wanna be I dedicate my life to it. Ain't nothing else worthwhile to me. It really ain't. I don't give a damn about nothing besides women. That's it, baby. That's all I care about. I like food, but if somebody was like, you starve to death and liberate all women all over the world, I would starve to death. Like I really do care about women, and especially my own, because I see how fucked up y'all are treated. So yeah, I hope that with whatever I do, the videos I make, I really hope I don't offend nobody. Hope you can understand what I'm saying and where I'm coming from. But the main goal is to be a beacon of light for the women, and the boys and the men too, if they have that good heart and they want to love women. But to be a beacon of light so that they can know I'm not crazy. Somebody before me saw the same thing and this is what she did. So maybe I can follow that path and it'll be beneficial to me. Because you know, they talk about inheritance, like money and all that. But sometimes if you can just give somebody, I don't want to say that, but I guess that's what it is. If you can give somebody the game, they do better. You make less mistakes. So that's how you generate better and better and better and better consciousness and, you know, the physical bodies get better with time because their actions are better because their consciousness is better because you're passing the baton in them, but you're also telling them what to look out for, what to do, what not to do, blah blah blah. So yeah, hopefully I can talk about stuff and help people avoid certain situations, help them understand certain situations, and they can take it even further, you know. But yeah, I like this one. This one feels, this one feels it. This one feels from the heart. This one feels like, yeah, I like this one. Okay, this is gonna be my first video, y'all.